A previous video we have discussed Surya Sukta 5th mantra. That video link is given in description box. In this video we are going to discuss about mantra of Surya Sukta, which is 6th mantra of 115 Sukta of first mandal of Rigveda. Rishi of this mantra is Kutsa Angiras, deity is Surya, Chanda is Trishtup and Swar is Daivat. Mantra is as follow. Adya Deva Udita Suryasya Nirahansa Pipruta Nirvadat Tanno Mitro Varuno Mamahantam Aditi Sindhu Prithvi Utado. What word meaning? Adya, today, Deva, the resplendent rays of the sun, Udita, upon rising, Suryasya, of the sun, Ni, with certainty, definitely, Ahans, with sin, Pipruta, cross, liberate, separate, Ni, with certainty, Avadyat, condemnable things, for speak and hear, Tat, prayer to rise above those sins and condemnable things, for speak and hear, Na, ours, Mitra, Mitra, Varuna, Varun, Mamahantam, approve, accept, Aditi, Aditi, Sindhu, Sindhu, Prithvi, Prithvi, earth, Uta, and Dew, Dewlok. Translation. Today, when the sun god rises, O resplendent rays of the sun, definitely separate us from sins and condemnable things for speak and hear. May Mitra, Varuna, Aditi, Sindhu, Prithvi, and the Dewlok approve our prayer to rise above those sins and condemnable things. May all of them together lift our lives above Ahans means sins and Avadya means condemnable things. Explanation. The actions prescribed in the Vedas are called dharma and the actions contrary to them are called adharma means sin. Worldly useless things which are not important for human from any economic, social or spiritual point of view, which are blasphemous, abusive, thoughtless, misleading and things which are against the scriptures are called avadyat means condemnable things for speak and hear. A human can commit such good deeds or sins in one day or one moment that his reward cannot be fulfilled even 1,000 of years. According to scriptures, there are 14 witnesses to human actions, one or the other of which is present with humans all the time. Day, night, sun, moon, fire, earth, water, air, directions, dharma, time, evening, sky, and the senses are the 14 witnesses of humans' good and bad deeds. The sun does not remain at night, and the moon does not remain during the day. Even the fire does not remain burning all the time. But one of the day, night, and evening always exists. Direction, sky, air, earth, water are always there. Human cannot run away from them, cannot hide from them. Human senses, time and dharma always remain with human. Any action will be performed by some senses at some time or the other. The effect of that karma falls on the planets, star and panchama bhutas of human. When a person commits a wrong deed, then Dharmadev gets informed about that wrong deed and the person definitely gets punished for it. To suffer the residual part of the karmas, human attains the life of immovable and movable. That's are animal, bird, insect, tree, bush, creeper, vine, mountain and grass, etc. In the mortal world, all these are species of suffering. In the species of a tree, one has to endure cold and heat for a long time and suffer the pain of being cut and burned in fire. If a living being take the form of an insect, then he suffers the pain inflicted by creatures stronger than him. He has to suffer from cold, wind, hunger, and he wanders in feces and urine, etc. Similarly, when one comes into the animal world, one continues to suffer the pain caused by an animal stronger than oneself. After coming into the bird species, one has to suffer sometimes by drinking only air and sometimes by eating impure things. If a living entity comes in the womb of a beast of burden, then the creature has to endure the terrible pain of being tied with a rope, beaten with sticks, and plowed. Let karma bondage will be understood through story. A king was riding on an elephant with a great pomp and show. His elephant was maniac. When the king got down from the elephant for some purpose, the elephant got upset and ran to attack the king with his trunk. Seeing the condition of the elephant, the king ran away to save his life, but the spoiled elephant chased him. Elephant pushed the king into the blind well, on one side of which there was a peepal tree, whose roots were coming out from inside the well, which extended up to the half the well. As soon as the king fell into the well, his foot got stuck in the roots of the peepal tree. Now the king's head was down and his feet were up. When the king looked down, he saw the huge monstrous pythons were facing upward in the well, seeing which the king shuddered. He thought that if I lost my footing and fell into the well, I would be eaten up by these predatory creatures. When he looked upward, he saw that two rats, one black and one white, were gnawing on the root in which his foot was stuck. The king thought that even if I manage to climb up somehow by holding on the roots, the maniac elephant is standing at the top waiting to kick. There are huge pythons below and rats are gnawing on the root in which my foot is stuck. In this way, the king got into the dire trouble. But even in such a situation, on the top of that peepal tree, honey bees had made a hive from which one drop of honey slowly dripped, and that honey sometimes fell on the king's mouth, which king tried to lick and became engrossed. In this engrossment, king forgot this terrible situation. He didn't even care about what would happen to him if this root broke. The meaning of this illustration is that the king in the form of living entity is riding on an elephant in the form of karma. Whether the elephant in the form of karma takes the king on the right path or on the wrong path. The moment the living entity descends from this elephant in the form of karma, the elephant in the form of karma runs to attack living entity and drives him away and throw living entity into the blind well in the form of mother's womb. In reality, in this world, both sinful and virtuous deeds are binding. Whether a human commits a sinful or a virtuous deed, he has to come to the blind well of the womb to experience that deed. In the womb-like well, the living entity's feet remain stuck in the root of the life-age-like tree, and when it hangs upside down in that root, means in the womb, every human being's head is down and feet are up. When living entity looking at the world below in the well, there are big pythons in the form of lust, anger, greed, attachment, pride, lust, birth, death, old age, diseases, are sitting with their mouth wide open ready to make the living entity their prey. The moment a human being is born, these vices take hold of him. Seeing this, the king in the form of living entity becomes extremely distressed. When this living entity looks upward, the same life-age-like root in which living entity foot is stuck is being cut by a black and white rat. Here the black rat is the symbol of night and the white rat is the symbol of day. Every day and night keeps reducing human's lifespan, and when the living entity thinks that if I somehow get out of this well by taking root, then the elephant in the form of karma is standing above to kick. That means even after birth, due to new karmic bonds, living entity will be put into another womb again. In this condition, the living entity becomes so engrossed in tasting the honey of the object, like form, taste, smell, sound, touch, that he forgets all the troubles. Therefore, why should we not perform such actions that the elephant in the form of karma does not chase us away and put us in the well of the womb? That is, we do such devotional actions which is beyond sin and virtue that lead to the attainment of God, and so that we do not again go into the terrible blind well of the womb. As Lord Sri Krishna says in 16th verse of 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that A Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna Ma Mupetyatu Konteya Punar Jalmana Vidyate. Translation: In all the worlds of this material creation, up to the highest abode of Brahma, you will be subject to rebirth, O Arjuna, but on attaining my abode, O son of Kunti, there is no further rebirth. There are 14 planets in our universe. The highest in this is the planet of Brahma, which is called Brahmaloka. Maya dominates all these planets. The inhabitants of these planets are subject to the cycle of birth and death. In Gita, all these planets have been called Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam, means as a temporary and full of sorrows. Human cannot live without doing work. If one does any work, then both sin and virtue will result. But the person who keeps God's vision in everything and works for the service of God, for the pleasure of God, then his actions become akarma and do not bind him in the bondage of karmic reactions. He is eternally free even while living in this world. Among the 84 lakh species of living beings, divine knowledge is not attained in any other species except the human one. Perhaps one attained the human form due to the accumulation of virtue acquired after being born thousands and crores of times in the various births mentioned above. Who would be more sinful than one who does not free himself from the cycle of birth and death by attaining this rare human body, which is stepping stone for attaining salvation? Every day sunrise makes a new beginning in human's life. Every day it provides a golden opportunity to human beings for their economic, social and spiritual progress. Every day's sunrise inspires a new beginning. Just as the darkness disappears as soon as the sun rises, in the same way Rishi Sangiras is praying to the gods Mitra, Varuna, Aditi, Sindhu, Prithvi and Dyuloka to free him from sinful deeds, sinful desires and condemnable things for speak and hear, so that he could progress spiritually. Wishes that by removing these condemnable and sinful things from the heart, that rising of sun of enlightenment in the heart. In such way, we have discussed Surya Sukta 6 mantra with its meaning and explanation. To get such more information and enlighten yourself, subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you.